Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I am sitting across the table from Ryan Barton Grimley. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm going to warn everyone listening to this right now. Well, we can agree with each other that we can try to not talk too long. But the full disclaimer is, well, I'm gonna give you the proper introduction and then the disclaimer. So the proper introduction is, first of all, you are here because we're going to talk about Listen Carefully.
Yes.
Which was an official selection at the Sherman Film Festival in 2024. But no, that's not where this begins.
No. No.
In the second Film Invasion LA ever, right, 2017, we started in 2016, and now this year we're having our 10th anniversary. We showed the feature film Repatriation.
Yes.
And you came out, great screening, great time. And then probably not long after that is when the podcast started, because it was that second year of film festivals that I was like, man, people work so hard on these movies. And then we discussed them at the theater for like 15, 20 minutes. Wasn't enough to me. And then everyone started telling me, well, other festivals do like 5 minutes. I was like, I don't care.
No, you want to dig into the process.
Yeah, you want to dig in. So you and actually Doug Mueller, your partner, you're on that film. But we did something really fun with that podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Time was available. You forgot?
Yeah.
Well, to everyone listening who wasn't in on this, first I interviewed, I think you were first, and then your creative partner on that feature, Doug, did one with me by Zoom. Actually, back then it was Skype.
Yeah.
And then all three of us got on. And I have told people this so many times, which is that you and Doug both told me, I learned shit about that movie we did from listening to the other guy's podcast that I had never heard. It was like a really funny learning.
And we had a small crew.
Small.
I mean, really small movie shot in the Midwest. We had multiple rounds of pickups, but the initial crew, I think, was 5 or 6 people and actors from New York. We were shot in Iowa and Dubuque. And I was producing as well as playing the lead. And so I think I blocked out a lot of the stuff. And, as a producer, I was kind of like, okay, if there's a problem, let me know, then I'll solve it. And the rest of the time, I'm going to prep for my character, who's a crazy, dark dude who has drinking problems, and it's about stolen valor. So he's also pretending to be a soldier. And so I didn't know a lot of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes with Doug and the DP.
Yeah, because you knew you were working with a director you trusted.
Totally, he's a great friend of mine. Yeah,
good friend. Yeah. And so so that was really fun for me. So I love telling people that so every once in a while I offer to other films hey, if you want to do separate podcasts and one together, but I don't think anyone's taking me up on it.
I think it's amazing, hearing oh, that's why when I showed up on set and my call time was an hour later, you had a red face and you were really pissed. And certain people were not there because they were cooling off somewhere else. And I thought they were just going to get coffee. I had no idea. That kind of stuff. But also I got a different view into the creative process, which made me, because after Repatriation, I directed and played one of the leads in Elijah's Ashes. It gave me the confidence hearing Doug talk about his process. I directed shorts I was in and stuff, but it was different. And I directed a feature without me in it. But so that kind of really, I don't know, that was kind of instrumental, I think. It was really cool.
Wow, huge.
Yeah.
Well, here
Thank you, Jeff.
Here, I was just trying to say that you were episode 33 of the Discover Indie Film podcast.
That's insane.
And now this one we're recording, my hunch is it's, 535 or 555?
Yeah.
But everyone does 2. Most people do 2. But that means 275 or 278 guests so far. So you were guest 15 or 16.
That's insane.
And now here you are back again. But this is your third time.
Yes.
Because here we go. Hawk and Rev, which you probably mentioned. No, you mentioned Elijah's Ashes, which, by the way, I highly recommend people just Go to justwatch.com, type in Elijah's Ashes.
Yeah.
Great fucking feature. And that your first directing that you starred in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you were co-lead.
Yeah. It's a $15,000 comedy about homophobia. Should look like a mumblecore movie, but doesn't. It looks like an Alexander Payne movie or something.
Yeah, it's
got
great.
A really,
it's a road picture, brothers.
Yeah.
Quality movie. Definitely quality. And funny.
Yeah.
And touching.
Thank you.
And always fun to see you be so different. But I think that's what actors do.
We try.
You try. Talk about different. So then for Film Invasion 2021, so 2017 we had Repatriation. 2021 we had Hawk and Rev, which of course June 2021 was the year we thought we might be back in the theater.
Yes.
And oh boy, no, the vaccine did not get out fast enough.
It also, like, for some people, just like it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So we had to pass on a screening, but we did a podcast for that one.
Yeah.
With you and Ari Schneider, your collaborator on that one, and Elijah's Ashes, and now 4 years later from 2021, Listen Carefully.
Yes.
Shows up at Sherman Oaks Film Festival. Takes home the Grand Jury Award for Best Feature Film Action Thriller.
Amazing. Thank you, buddy.
Well, you make good movies, so
I appreciate that. It was a labor of love, and in the initial shoot, it happened right before COVID in November of 2019, and we still need to do pickups during COVID. So even while Hawk and Rev was going out and doing its festival stuff, or digital festival stuff, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, that actually did kind of work for it. It, like, tons of people saw it all over the world at digital festivals because they were they were all kind of gate capped for the territories. It was awesome, actually, considering the circumstances.
And it was working at the time. I remember being almost wondering if, like, the whole festival world was going to change, because June 2020 and June 2021, there was a lot of people watching on festival screenings online.
Yeah.
And then we got, as a festival, we got sort of backed into a corner of being asked, like, well, aren't you going to be hybrid now and do theatrical and virtual? So we kept it going. And each festival, the virtual numbers kept lowering. People just didn't want to watch stuff online anymore.
Yeah.
So finally, actually, by the way, the 10th anniversary of Film Invasion LA returns to being theatrical only.
Yeah, I think it's a positive thing. I think we need to get people out to the theaters, and I think people really want to see movies in the theaters. I think the traditional providers of content are not doing a very good job of that, and they're not giving people stuff to go and see in the theaters because they were reliant on all these giant Marvel movies, and that's kind of waned, and, like, I don't know, there's a big gap right now, I think, for theatrical stuff.
There really is, and people do still enjoy an event film, or they enjoy a reason to go to the movie theater.
Totally.
It's just we rarely get one, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're like, am I really going to leave the house to go see whatever that thing is?
Yeah,
so it's got to be
people
different.
Who see it tell you, well, you might want to wait till it comes out. And by the way, half the time, I'll, our 17-year-old is a horror fanatic.
Yeah.
So, we'll go see a horror movie now and then. And half the time, the projection at an expensive theater, whereas, what can I say? The kid, I don't say no very often. So she gets the M&Ms, she gets the Coke, even it's 10 p.m., she's freaking drinking a Coke. But so between the two movie tickets and the M&Ms and the Coke, it's like a $50, $60 night. And then I'm looking at projection where, like, everything is a shade of gray, weak color, no contrast, uncomfortable chair. And I'm like, we should have just waited for this damn movie to come out on cable and then just watch it at home with a better screen.
Yeah, I think with horror specifically, there's some kind of weird exhibitionist tendency in horror fans where they want to be scared in public. You know what I mean? And I think that's why horror has kept doing so well in the theaters. Granted, everybody's jumping on board to that now and sort of being like, oh, we make horror too. And you're like, okay, dude. Like, but I think one of the things I loved about Film Invasion and Sherman Oaks as well is that it's fresh stuff from all over the world that's playing theatrical. That how the hell are you going to find that? And that's one of the things I've loved. So with Listen Carefully, it was the first time I got to really go to internationally when the movie played. And that was amazing because I saw all these films from all over the world that I don't know that they're going to get distribution. I mean, a lot of them really deserve it. They're incredible. But they're from, obscure places, or there were indies made in small countries and stuff like that, and you get to see that theatrically. It's awesome, and it's totally like if you love movies, you should do that. You know what I mean? But just to go back to the streaming thing, like with Hawk and Rev, we played New Orleans Horror Festival. It's NOLA Horror is what it was. Doesn't exist anymore. It was around for like 15 years. Great festival. And I'm kind of like grumbling about it. We did a live Q&A and a live watch. So there was a chat on the side of the viewing window. There were over 3,500 people watching Hawk and Rev, and it was just gate kept to the south. And I just was like, well, if it had played NOLA in the theater, it was only like a 60-person theater. So it really did get out to a lot of people, which was really interesting. So I think there is room for the hybrid, but it's got to be done in a way that people will really go for it. And I don't know what that looks like, but...
Yeah, me either. And Lord knows I have the dream, right? Like, how cool would it be to, like, the second Saturday of every month do a Film Invasion virtual screening.
Yeah.
With the kind of chat thing you're talking about, and a Q&A, and like a Zoom webinar Q&A style thing. Yeah. But where do you, I don't even know where to start, and
yeah.
And to get audiences to know we exist, right? To know that like we're going to show you one kick-ass movie per month. Of course, there's more than one.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I do love the idea of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just sadly don't have, I guess Discover Indie Film, the Instagram account attached to this podcast. Like if Discover Indie Film got up to like 100,000 followers, then we could be like, okay, we're showing a great movie this weekend.
Yeah.
Watch it live and talk to the filmmaker live, like whatever. It could happen, but
it's more. I think it's also about the filmmakers making themselves available who have a natural draw as well. And I feel like, and I include myself in this category. A lot of us are very introverted, so we're like, oh, our work will speak for itself, and we put it out, and we're like, people will find it, and it's like, no, man. Like, you got to go out there, especially in this current environment with so much media, so much social media. There's just a lot of volume with all this stuff, and you got to break through it somehow. It's pretty tough.
It's tough, and what's really tragic is the cream doesn't rise to the top.
Yeah.
Because algorithms don't encourage quality, right? Like on social media.
Yeah.
Like if people are loving a film, it's not like that'll really boost engagement for Instagram, but the Instagram algorithm, if a film offends people, will like push it out to them, right?
Absolutely. Like you could make like a really great drama about something super duper important, and it could be in a Academy level movie, maybe even with some names. And you're better off making a movie where you do something really controversial. And it can be a piece of garbage movie. like I don't know if you saw the Trump movie. Did you see this? Where it's Trump in the 70s? It's a pretty good movie. Jeremy Strong's in it, from Succession, and it's pretty good. But like nobody really knows those actors. They're kind of known from TV. And they're good, and the movie's like kind of okay. It doesn't take a big swing at an idea, and then say this is the payoff of that idea. It just sort of is like fly on the wall, and a lot of people were talking about that movie on social media, and it got all this press, and they chose to release it, once Trump was sworn into office. And it doesn't make him look bad, really. I mean, we all know who he is in public life anyway, so there was nothing new, but it just,
I got to admit, the hot button thing matters hugely. It always has.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just going to be crude for a moment because that's who I am, and point out that look, American Pie got huge because a guy stuck his dick in a pie.
Yeah, totally.
And people just went to see it for that.
Yeah.
And
Stifler's mom,
I
bro.
liked it. I know. We had the word MILF ever since.
Yeah.
But, and then Saltburn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
great movie.
I liked it.
Yes.
But I think in the end, it broke through because he fucked the dirt.
Yeah. And the one guy,
great.
He slurps
blood,
up the water out of the bathtub.
Yeah.
So my 14-year-old daughter, Saltburn broke through to TikTok in the 12 and 13-year-old to 14-year-old group, and they were then finding these scenes of the water slurping in the bathtub, dude. Which is, I don't know if you've seen the movie.
I saw it.
Check it out. Look for it. I don't want to verbalize what that is. It's disgusting. But it's very well acted, and it's a great movie. But I'm just saying, because of that controversy and the way it was pushed on TikTok, kids went and found Saltburn, an art house thriller, all over the world, and then watched that movie, which is wild.
It's wild and
may all
wildly
the gods
inappropriate,
bless
right?
those producers.
The one crowd that movie should not have been promoted to.
Correct.
Was under 17.
Oh yeah.
I mean, our 16
middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gross.
No, it's.
But I mean, American Pie was the same thing, I think.
Yeah, and it's of course. So I mean, that's the bummer is you need a controversial, attention-grabbing hook.
Yeah.
But that's always been the case.
Yeah.
It kind of has. I shouldn't be hating on it. It's just. But if anything, that's.
I think you need it more now than ever to break through all the volume of all the media. And stuff.
I think you do, especially because now, with apologies to everybody, I apologize to everyone for what I'm about to say. Eric Roberts,
yes,
is very open to being in indie films. I get, but all I'm going to say is having a known actor in your indie film means nothing now.
Yes,
it doesn't. Having Eric Roberts doesn't help you.
No,
and even it's kind of like the star system kind of crumbled.
Yeah, I think unless you're Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt, pretty much.
But I mean, I could name great. I mean, there was a great film that Steven Soderbergh directed with Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, Candice Bergen.
Yes.
And Diane Wiest, and Let Them All Talk. And it was brilliant, and no one saw it, and no one cared, and it barely had a theater. I think Netflix might have released it.
Yeah.
Briefly theatrically, and then but it just disappeared, and I'm like, some of the greatest actors alive. Working with a great director, and it just got ignored.
Yeah, because they, the long form content now, I don't think kids care about it unless they're getting the piss scared out of them.
Yeah,
pretty much, man.
But I mean, it's challenging, right? Yeah, because
it's very freeing as a director and a producer because I'm kind of like. Working on new stuff, and I'm like, wow, I don't really care about it being low budget anymore. I'm totally fine with that as long as it's passable and it's more about how different the project is, and things that I used to go, well, there's no way that will fly. There's no way people would be interested in that. I'm kind of like of the opinion now that maybe that's what should be focused on, is those things that are way out there. And maybe, you know, they start very similar to what we're used to, but they really veer off in these insane directions because people are so desensitized. They need that. They want that. They crave that. They're looking for that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, interesting because well, Hawk and Rev, you kind of went for it, right?
Yeah,
you had a lot of fun making it as bloody as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, as I recall, we delayed it a festival. Didn't we? Because you wanted it. I think you wanted it in Film Invasion maybe the year earlier, and then but you let me know dude, where the post is taking longer than I wanted.
Yeah.
And so we just did it again the following year, I think.
Yeah. It closed out Film Invasion, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Film Invasion was its final play before it released.
It was almost the premiere, but the blood wasn't done.
Yeah. So
but I'm saying you went for it on the blood there.
There's 40 minutes of gore at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
And it's theatrical and fun, and it makes fun of gore, and then it makes fun of itself making fun of gore. It's like we went full
you leaned into it.
Yeah.
But I guess you're kind of saying you're really thinking man, I should lean into
all those things.
All these things, right?
Yeah. So if you're going to make a political movie, really make a political movie. Go for the jugular. If you're going to make a serial killer movie, you've got to really go for the jugular. You're not really going to get away with doing a thing that's sort of mashup between Silence of the Lambs and blank movie. It's got to kind of have this whole other vibe, and you got to take risks, I think, as the filmmaker, because there's so many people making content now. They're making parodies on TikTok of Silence of the Lambs that are better than a lot of the movies. You know what I mean? So you got to, those kids who made Talk to Me, there are these two brothers who are making stuff on YouTube, and they made this horror movie, Talk to Me, which basically the device in the horror movie is this hand that you grab, this kind of metal or wooden hand, and it all goes through that. And it originated from these YouTube shorts, and it's bonkers, and they totally go there. And it's not overrated, and it's really good. And they were from Australia, and they're in their 20s, and I think unfortunately they have a follow-up movie with A24 that looks kind of like a follow-up movie that's formulaic. Hopefully not, but
do it again, but with a little more money. But yeah, you just reminded me of how the last season of White Lotus, if it wasn't for that brother to brother hand job, I think half the audience would have not tuned in for the third season. But everybody said there's something that's never been done before. People just said, no, you should watch, dude. You won't believe what they do in this season.
Yeah.
And that's, I even heard, Jennifer Coolidge say it. She's like, I tuned in to see what Mike White was going to do, and oh my God, he outdid himself again.
I mean, exactly. I was just waiting for her to come back as a ghost. I'm like, how can you not have her in there in some way? Because she was just
It hurt.
It hurt.
But he killed her. He killed her the one before. But even that, even a big, respected production like that with an established history with audiences, they push the envelope because it's both creative, but it's a creative selling point.
Absolutely. And I think it attacked a boundary, and that's the thing. And I was trying to do the same thing with Listen Carefully around dad stuff. I don't know if we got there, but I definitely swung for it, and Yeah, again, a tiny
Yeah,
freaking...
no, I mean, Listen Carefully is a nightmare
Yeah.
come to life on screen.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a realistic nightmare in some ways, right? Like it's...
Yeah. No, they're
Yeah.
realistic fears. I got so many messages after people finally got to see it out in the world, like civilians, not film people, who are like, holy shit, man. This is literally my worst fucking nightmare. Why did you make this movie? And I got like hundreds of these messages through all my socials and the website. And, you know, some people were like, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. But a lot of people were, I talked to a lot of people who were like, I wanted to send you that message, but I ended up not doing it because I see what you were trying to do because I went to the end, kind of, because it's a tonal poem in a weird way that's like a nightmare, you know?
It's almost, I mean, like we went with we went with thriller for the genre. I mean, it's definitely genre crossing, right?
For sure,
It's, you know, I don't even know. There's probably a better term for
what do I call it? I call it like a psychological horror.
Yeah,
but it's you know, New Dad meets Jacob's Ladder or something like that.
Yeah,
is kind of where I was at. But
yeah,
I think that undersells.
I mean, for me,
it.
it's practically, but it's not a good selling point. Which just call it like anxiety horror. Like, you know, there's creepy horror, there's body horror.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of horror is such a flourishing genre.
Yeah.
But I mean, you leaned into the anxiety for the whole film.
I mean, it was based on an anxiety nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, which I told the story at our screening, you know, about how I, you know, went to a Mexican restaurant with my family and had a bunch of spicy food, which will give me nightmares usually, but I love. And then my younger brother was there, and everybody was congratulating him about what a great parent he was. And then they all kind of turned to me and were like, unlike this guy who was too afraid to hold his own kid. And that was totally true. I have a lot of anxiety. I mean, and I've suffered with it. I was born in Zimbabwe. I lived there for 10 years. It was not a great situation there during the time I lived there. As a kid, you know, it's not like there was any buffer, you know, through my parents. Like I was shielded from it. It was just there. And
right, you were watching a nation crumble.
Totally, and transform into another nation who ended up with a giant dictator. And we had a lot of, you know, family infighting. We had just crazy, like Macbeth level intrigue just in our own family, let alone politics and stuff. And that's how we ended up here. So as a kid, I think the anxiety for me was just turned up to 11. So having kids myself and having to deal with that responsibility just pushed all my buttons in every single way. And I had not processed it properly. I'd had my kids for 10 years before I started writing Listen Carefully after having this anxiety nightmare, you know. So, yeah, and that was just a personal project for me. But then I realized how, in order to turn that into a movie, it needed to have more meat and more legs. And so I wanted to kind of visualize a lot of the nightmarish stuff that people go through when they have a psychological break. You know?
Yeah, I mean, not to be by the way, I am a total hack amateur psychologist.
Yeah.
I own it.
Me too, me as well.
But writing that script was kind of you managing, it was you dealing with PTSD from your childhood.
For sure.
Huge.
For sure. 100%. And like doing the movie with the crew, they're like, I don't understand what this is. Like, you know, I gave the script to Ari Schneider, who I collaborate with a lot, and he helped produce the movie and plays the voice and a cop character. I mean, he's just universal in the movie. And
in a way, he plays your worst nightmare. Like he's the embodiment of the nightmare.
Yeah, over and over again in every form, kind of, which was really interesting. And when he first read the script, he was like, I don't really understand this. Like, I don't see what the point is. And I was like, well, because it read, the way I write is very like, you know, late 80s, early 90s Shane Black. So it's tongue in cheek and a lot of stuff. So the screenplays are very entertaining to read. And, you know, Hawk and Rev was a big body horror comedy with a lot of inside jokes and, you know, lots of extended sequences of taglines and inside jokes and all this funny stuff mixed with gore and, you know, making fun of the vampire genre and all of this stuff. But Listen Carefully was this very stripped down with, you know, elaborate sequences of, you know, images and stuff. And was trying to be a really psychedelic version of Hitchcock or something. So I think reading that for everyone who I'd worked with previously, they were like, what the heck is this, man? And I was like, trust me, once we get these pieces together, this thing is like, people will not be able to stop watching it. And so we kind of combined that with like this weird voyeuristic, a kind of handheld photography, but then we would go full Hitchcock and start like rushing the camera, rushing characters with the camera and like movement, and it's all shot at night. So it's got this weird neon Michael Mann vibe or something, you know, and I don't know. It was a departure for sure. And I think it was fun. Every festival programmer I spoke to, after, you know, they either said no or yes to programming the movie, they always end up contacting me, which was, I know they didn't have to do that, which is super nice. They all were like, whoa, man, this is really different than your other stuff. What's going on? Like, are you dying? Like, what's going on? Like, and I was like, no, I think I just am kind of maturing. And I feel like I just wanted to play with new thematic and form as well as making the story super personal in horror, which is, I think, the way to go. And I think when people really complain about these movies feeling disconnected in the theater and stuff, it's because they're not personal. There's no personal voice. 50 people wrote it. You know, guy's directing it, but, you know, is he really, how much directing is happening? You know?
No, it's not. It's frequently, it's not someone's vision.
Right.
And when it's not someone's personal vision, if there's not somebody, some person or tight team expressing something, then yeah, it starts to fall flat. It really does. But I was gonna note that as much as people thought this was a departure for you, I kind of did. As some, I've seen I'm 4 for 4 with you, right? On the features that you do lean into being an anti-hero.
Totally.
Because Repatriation, you're an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Elijah's Ashes, you're the asshole, right?
Yeah.
In your own way,
real bastard.
You play somebody that you wouldn't.
I mean, that's technically
he's a
horror
redeemable
movie.
person,
Sure.
for sure. He's not an all bad guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I think one of the really appealing things about that character is he's a realistically person with good and bad traits.
Yes,
but still, he's, you know, you don't feel the need to be the most likable, charming guy on screen. Far from it.
No. I like to play really stunted people and see what they do.
And Listen Carefully was Andy, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Andy McNeary.
Andy has, but I have some empathy for Andy.
Yeah, me too.
Because we all, you get, especially when you get older, you start to realize, yeah, no, I don't always do the right thing. I thought I had a really great moral compass.
Yeah.
But there's this thing called the real fucking world.
Yeah. And put in under the right circumstances, I mean, I might have no choice is kind of where Andy was at. You know, and there's something about really boring Midwestern white dudes with that darkness underneath. You know, that was really interesting to me to see that person get put in the pressure cooker and see them like lose their politeness, lose their kind of moral structure, you know?
Well, and I believe the average American is living with more debt than they want and is not as financially secure as they want.
100%.
And that's Andy.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't identify with that?
Yeah. The bone-crushing pressure of debt, of having to provide, of there not being enough resources, and there not being anywhere to go, and that it's not going to get better. If anything, it's maybe going to get worse. And then the slippery slope starts happening, and people start doing weird stuff. And I've seen it in my personal life with other, relatives and friends, and you just start to see all these things kind of happen. And I've never seen anybody pull it off. It's always been a extremely self-destructive thing, and then they start doing other things to cope with that, and the guilt of it all, and it's just like unravels, and that was part of the idea for me, was to try to get all of that and compress it into one like 12-hour night, which is just brutal. And I remember, the movie's a short 84-minute clip with credits, and I remember having a 110-minute version of that movie and then cutting all of the fat so that it really did feel like your heart was racing, Because I think you would feel like that if somebody stole your baby, which is the setup of the whole movie.
Yeah, you can do a sequel where like their second child gets kidnapped and he just goes, "No, I still got one."
Yeah. That was my backup kid.
That's only 50%, so I'm okay.
Yeah. I already worked through those issues.
Oh man, usually I think I might have just stolen a Tosh Point O sketch where they made fun of Liam Neeson where his daughter gets taken and he just goes, "Yeah, you can have her."
This is my second daughter. I don't like her.
Click. But yeah, for sure. Well, I certainly would believe that 110 minutes would have been hard to sit through.
Yeah.
You need to get us there.
Yeah. And we had a lot more like I would classify them as Sundancey kind of rumination moments. But then I realized that those were really, Andy hadn't earned those. He had not, as a character, earned them. And so there are a couple towards the end of the movie where you really get those. But the movie, again, structurally, has an interesting, like, ellipsoidal structure, because it is a nightmare, that it's not going to give you the break. And that's part of the issue and the horror of being a parent, is that you will always be a parent. You'll be on your deathbed, and your kid will be there next to you, and you'll still worry about your kid on your deathbed because it's your kid and your responsibility in a sense. And I guess I have that weird kind of patriarchal, honoristic, old-timey vibe. I don't know.
No, I mean, that's so real. I mean, I'm a few years from 60, and my 84-year-old mom will like call and go, "Is everything okay?" And like, she's just worried about me. And I'm like, at this point, she'll even say, "Anything I can do?" I'm like, "What could you do?" Like,
yeah,
I'm taking care of you now.
Did you eat today? I get that one a lot.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Are you eating enough?
Yeah. And I think.
But yeah, the stress never goes away.
Right. So I think strategically, like as a creative, you can go super weird, or you can dig really deep into the personal, and or do both. And I think we should all challenge ourselves as creatives to kind of do both. Like, why not? Why not dig in there? Like, tell the stories that haven't been heard. And it's not, I think that's become such a cliche, because it got wrapped up in like DEI and all this stuff. And it was like, well, we've never seen this particular person's story from their culture. And I get that, but we're through that now. Now where are we going? Like, where do we dig in? And I think going like super personal and then getting into this kind of weirder existential stuff is the way to go. And that applies to horror, comedy, drama, all of it. And I want to see that. And, you know, like you said in White Lotus, that was a super weird scene between those brothers. And the one brother thought he was really doing a favor to his brother.
Yeah.
You know, and like...
Yeah, there's probably an argument that the younger brother was neurodivergent too.
Totally.
They didn't deal with that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, come to think of it, I just assumed, you know, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank God they had that moment in there because I met Jason Isaacs a few times. Lovely guy in real life. Incredible actor. You know, and he's playing this dude in for like 3 or 4 episodes. He's just kind of in a holding pattern of waiting to be delivered tragic information through the phone in this paradise. And I wanted more. And I wanted more for him as a performer because I know what he can do.
That character's level of stress and anxiety...
Yes.
was hard for me to watch.
Yes.
My anxieties were just...
Yeah.
Honestly, that was probably harder. As his ride is harder than Andy's ride.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, he was literally so rock bottom, he was thinking about murder-suicide.
Correct.
With the ones he loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't see them.
Yeah, you're right. Mike White just pushed the envelope with every story.
Yeah, respect, big respect.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's really what you're saying is people need to push the envelope while writing great stories, right? You still have to be a great storyteller.
Yeah.
But if you're not pushing the envelope, if you're not pushing some sort of envelope, is there actually a reason to make what you're making, right?
That's the question. And it's funny, like, you know, coming into making a new project, that's the thing that happens with me all the time. I have filing cabinets of ideas, literally hard drives of ideas. There's no shortage of amazing ideas. But then once you start pulling them apart and try to put them in the structure of a feature, you know, that's got to hold people for 77 to 120 minutes in today's current environment and with limited resources, probably more limited than ever, and limited ways to make your money back with your project, as much as there are so many places for your project to be seen, you go through all your old projects and you're like, is this one really grabbing me? You know, and I go through this exhaustive process where I really go through all of them and will even rewrite them sometimes. And, you know, some of them become dated because things change. Like I had this killer political horror comedy that I'm not sold on it working in today's environment. Like things went the other way. I think it would have worked way better. And I'm a moderate. I'm in the middle. I kind of like, as an artist, I want to comment on both sides. Like, and I really, and it killed me because I just wanted to do this so bad with Ari, you know, and him getting to play a Kevin type character, like an Elijah's Ashes type kind of jerk douchebag character. And it just... Suddenly, the concerns of the main character felt trite. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could ignore this and plow ahead anyway, but it's too painful, you know, to make a film. Because my films, I guess, are more personal because I'm making them, I'm cutting them with help sometimes, but they're my films. They're my projects. And they're going to go with me. They're like my children in a weird way. And I can't ignore that that's going to be a turkey. I know that I can put my divining rod out into the universe and I can read what is going on with people and the environment, the media environment, where people are at on all sides of these issues. I get it. I'm very sensitive about this stuff. And I was like, that's just going to read dated and trite. And to the point of where it may even become offensive to people in a way that I don't want to be offensive to people. I have no problem with being offensive to people as an artist. In fact, I look for those buttons. I just want it to be purposeful and to line up with what I'm trying to do, in terms of delivering this kind of theme and this like endpoint and this story and this experience for people. And I don't want to do this thing accidentally. And so, yeah, there's a lot of project abandonment because of that. It's brutal.
That is
brutal.
Well, it's also because of the number of things you have filed away, I bet. And for how long you've been at this, right?
Yeah.
A decade at least.
Yeah,
not longer.
No, longer and longer.
Yeah, longer.
Yeah, I first tried to make a feature in 2004, and it failed. I tried to make another feature in 2005 in Costa Rica. It failed. I finally got a feature funded, my first film, The Truth, in 2008. We shot between 2008 and 2010 and released. And, it's been a long time.
Damn, so 9 years before Repatriation was the first feature.
Yeah.
And that's the one that you didn't act in?
I didn't act in that, and I was able to get name cast. And John Hurd, the late John Hurd, and Brendan Sexton III, one of the Baldwins, plays a small role, and it's a really good first movie, but it's also the kind of movie that, looking back on, I'm like, wow, I've learned a lot. And I've always been a DIY guy, so that was a DIY movie on steroids, and it was pure luck that we ended up with more than a $50,000 budget. It just was random timing, and in retrospect, what I view as a failure, as a creative failure, ended up being one of the most freeing things, because my original intention of making that movie was to act in it. But then when this extra money came up, I made the choice. Do I cast someone else instead of me? And it changed the entire tone of the movie. And the movie became less complicated and less deep. And it didn't have the dark sense of humor that it was supposed to have, because it just was not conveyed through these actors. And this is a brutal thing I'm going to say right now. A lot of actors that you can get on a sub $5 million movie or sub $1 million movie, let's say, that are a name actor are just doing it for the money. They are. It's very rare they're doing it because they love the movie. And you tend to, as a producer and as a director, when you're starting out, when you're trying to make a name for yourself and attach these people to your movie, they're more than happy to do it. And of course they are. They're actors. They need work, and they need to work, and they need money. And what you don't realize from an artistic, creative point of view is you're encountering people who are on their way down, and you're trying to go up on your way up. And these two paths cross, and it's very frustrating as a creative, because you're like, why doesn't this person care about my project? And it's like, oh, well, in retrospect, it was just like a paycheck.
It was a paycheck, maybe not a big one, but a paycheck. And they probably also have it in the back of their mind, and this is cynical, but probably true, that, this one probably won't see the light of day.
Totally.
So how hard do you have to work?
Yeah.
If you're saying to yourself, I'm taking, 1/10 my rate, what I got on the last Hollywood one.
Yeah.
But, no one will see it. I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, that's not a great way to enter into art.
Yeah, exactly. And it's part of what pushed me to try to be the lead in every movie, because I had studied so much acting, done a bunch of acting, and I was like, well, at the minimum, the lead actor will be super duper committed, and I don't think there will be another person that's going to be more committed than me. And if I'm in most of the movie, I know at least everything I'm in will be committed at the minimum. And then I can cut it so that it will be good and committed, because I'm a good editor, and I just felt like that became that's become my thing. It's so funny when I first, like, even when I did Repatriation, and Doug Mueller was the director of that, and he's an incredible director, and he's mostly done documentaries since. And, we're great friends. And what I realize is that for me as a storyteller, it's not just the acting. It's also the direction, and it's also the edit, and it's every single thing, because the whole thing is like a story that I'm telling. And in a sense, I'm not sure I'm even a filmmaker. I'm just a storyteller, and this ends up being the avenue that I'm doing. And I kind of have to have control over all of that in order for the tone to be right. And that's really frustrating to get across to people, because they're like, why can't you just be a one-off dude on a show or something? And I'm like, I can be that, but I don't think that's my best use. That's an interesting thing for people, I guess. Because I used to be like, I would try to explain what I was doing to people. And now I'm at the point where I've heard many people refer to me, oh, that's that guy, he's made a bunch of indie movies and he's always in them. And they're cool, they're weird and interesting. I've heard that recently, which is cool. I've clearly crossed the divide from being, that's a guy who's trying to make some movies, to being that guy, which I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's like something,
No, very much, very much. I mean, look, it often breaks a little part of my heart, because I will, people that are at our film festivals, I'll occasionally get an email that's like, I'm quitting, I'm done, I'm not making another film. Oof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like a normal reaction to this indie world, because success is really, you have to define success very carefully, right?
Correct.
But the fact that you've done 4 features, basically.
Yeah.
With yourself as the lead.
Yeah.
One you didn't direct, but still, like, that's pretty unique. I mean, that actually, sometimes just staying in the game.
Yeah.
Stands out.
Surviving, yeah.
Stands out. Well, and clearly, like, you, I'm not going to, like, there must be a bit of a, like you're saying, there's an awareness. Like you stay in the game long enough.
There has become one, yeah, for sure.
Which is huge.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I had, oh man, it's so weird. Like, I had this weird dream in like 2017, other than the Listen Carefully dream, the genesis of that thing. I had this weird dream about being a really old man sitting in this crazy like cockpit type chair with VR headset on, and like all of these monitors and things all around. And I was like clearly plugged into this machine. And then on all these monitors, it just basically showed groups of people all over the world in these different kind of contexts, like stadiums and rooms and theaters and stuff. And then, like, I weirdly life created a horror experience for them. And that they were then sending, I guess, at probably cryptocurrency, looking back on it, like into this thing. And I had like this, I think I'd been watching Twitch at that point. So I just had this like the same like money like feed on the side. And it was, you know, in like 2060 or something like that. And it was, I think, it's one of the things I've always respected about a bunch of these directors that I look up to, like Coppola and, I don't know, Scorsese, John Carpenter, you know. There's just so many that are so incredible. But they have the voice. They're the voice. And it's irrelevant almost who's in the stuff. And I think that's where we're kind of going, you know. And I think that kind of storytelling, that experiential chops is where it's kind of got to go for people. And that could even be live theater. I don't know what that looks like, but, you know.
Well, that's true because we, a good while ago, earlier in this conversation, kind of, you know, we shared how the star system is kind of dead because, you know, movies with really big actors just come and go now, and no one goes to see them. So really the auteur filmmaker is a commercial thing. It is actually because, you know.
Increasingly so.
Yeah, and I've joked with people. I'm like, one of the big, I have noticed from doing over 500 of these podcasts is that most people who are filmmakers today at some point had that experience of that first film they saw where they realized there was an auteur behind it.
Right.
And, film can be someone's personal vision as well instead of just Bambi, you know, like made by committee, you know.
Yeah.
Bunch of departments, blah, blah, blah. Not to knock on Bambi. I shouldn't knock on films I haven't seen.
I've seen it. It's emotionally painful.
Yeah.
It's a very tragic movie.
It is. I know.
And it's marketed towards children. It's so brutal.
Such a weird time.
It's so weird.
But there's that moment where you go from like, I want to see every film with that actor in it.
Yeah.
To no, I want to see every film made by that writer or director.
Yeah.
Because that's how you actually see good movies. Because, you know, I used to joke that Keanu Reeves, who I support greatly. I don't like when people insult him.
Love him.
But I feel that one of his greatest talents is selecting projects.
Yes.
Because whether it was a guy coaching baseball or Neo, or like he would make some choices and end up in a really high quality film. And, you know, so following his career, like you manage to mostly see good films. But in general, an actor really has no control over whether it's a good film or not.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Yeah.
And what really pushed me to really try to direct was I made a movie in Costa Rica as an actor. I was cast in it. It's the biggest thing I had done to that point. And the script read like this amazing Tarantino-esque crime thriller. It was gritty, had this awesome like love story. And I went down and shot the movie, and I very quickly realized that the tone that they were capturing was off. It didn't, and they were not aware of that. And they're lovely people. And they're talented, and everyone who worked on it was talented. And I remember, I remember shooting this scene, and my character had escaped with this woman that my brother and I in the movie had kidnapped, and were holding for ransom. And she had kind of bewitched me, and I kind of fallen in love with her, and I was just this dumb kid. And you can look this movie up. You'll see it early in my IMDb. And I have great like caterpillar dark eyebrows, which are hilarious in it. And there's this great scene in this ditch on the side of this banana plantation where we are supposed to be like having this heart to heart. And it just hit me how it wasn't going to be good. And I had been down there for 5 weeks of my life. And we were paid, but not very much. And being on set was not fun. It was long. Banana plantations are filled with massive spiders and pesticides. We were in a studio in the main city that was pretty dangerous in this area. And when I saw the movie, all of that was confirmed. And I remember I had a manager at the time, and I've never really had a rep after this. This guy was great. His name was Gordon King. And he said to me, look, kid, because I booked another thing. I booked 3 days on a TV show or go down to Costa Rica and do this movie. I booked them at the same time. It was the greatest moment of my life. I just graduated UCLA, and I was like, boom, fucking making it. And I go down, and he said to me when I was going to pick, he said, look, kid, you don't know if any of these things are going to be good. And I was like, what does this guy know? He's this older guy, you know. He doesn't know anything. And he's like, look, just do whatever you think will be most fun. He's like, the money's basically, yeah, it's a little different. Who cares? Like, are you really in this for the money? If you're really in this for the money, like you wouldn't have told me not to send you out for soap operas. You know what I mean? And it was just so funny because I made that choice. And I had an amazing time in Costa Rica. But it really convinced me that that person who is in charge of what the tone is, and that goes all the way through the edit and the score, that is the most important thing. And that is a thing that cannot be replicated in an organic way by any algorithm either. It can make an imitation of an older movie or a recent movie or a recent body of work, but it's not going to be a new style. And this is the interesting thing, that I don't think if directors continue to evolve as a creative and their style evolves, I don't think that can be replicated by AI. You know?
No, I think...
I think those fears are overdone.
Yeah, I don't think AI will... I mean, we could... I'm not an AI freaking expert, so I don't know why I feel... But I mean, AI threatens some jobs.
Yeah. Just
because fewer people will be able to get things done.
Sure.
Almost as good. Yeah. Right? That's what... a guy I respect, another friend who's way more techie and involved in that stuff, was like saying to me, no, it's the good enough. Like, yeah, you could spend $1.7 million to have ILM do X number of effects, or you could hire somebody for $100,000 to do, a 78% quality job of what you would have gotten. So why not, right? Why not settle for less? Like that's what AI. That's where AI is going to come in.
Yeah,
but
so it's like a better tool set, a cheaper, more efficient tool set, really.
Yeah, a cheaper tool set if you're okay with it being
subpar.
Yeah, just a little subpar.
Yeah,
but amusingly, audiences sometimes don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, those lightning bolts could have been,
Yeah.
Oh, look at that blood splatter actually went through the wall.
Yeah, in the story,
Instead
if the
of hitting
story's
the wall.
grabbing them.
Yeah. They're like, goofs and gaffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
That's wild. I wonder when the first, fully made by AI show will drop on a major streamer without us knowing.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be our line.
Completely
probably
generated.
Not our line. Yeah, from start to finish?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long way off.
Yeah, it's a long, long way off. Because when you really start playing with the stuff to actually accomplish the real things that people do in a feature or a big-time TV show, those things fall apart. The humans don't look real. Everything's weird. The color correction they all look like badly color-corrected commercials, you know?
I mean, the day will come. We do get emails at the festivals like, do you accept AI? Because a lot of the big festivals probably take a very good stance and say we don't accept stuff with AI. And
yeah.
we do, because when people ask us that, our response is we see AI as VFX and we're going to judge you if it's good or not.
Yeah.
But you just have to be good. I've yet to see something particularly good.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name the film or anything. I couldn't name it if I wanted to, but like we have had features submitted where the entire animated cast is AI and they get around all the AI problems by never showing someone speak. You always see the back of a head or you see the face of the person listening nodding, because AI right now it completely falls apart with facial expressions while speaking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how could someone turn in an hour-and-a-half movie? How can someone pay a submission fee to a film festival where there's not a single face seen speaking for
so
90
weird.
minutes? I mean, it's just weird. It's like,
you just go back and think about their thought process. Oh, I've got it.
I almost want to send an email that says, I want to say like, congrats.
Good work.
Because you're cutting edge and I get it. And like, this'll be there someday. Like you said, someday it'll happen. And you're a pioneer, but like, really, you thought this would compare to a film with human beings on screen?
Yeah. So I know a lot of people in tech because, I lived in the Bay Area before I went to UCLA. I went to San Francisco State, and there was a point in time where I could have gotten a gig at ILM, and there were and many tech companies, and I thought about going down that road. But I'm an artist, so I was kind of like, I don't care about that. Beyond like discovering what the most interesting part of that tech is, I could care less. Kind of like I can learn any computer program, and I've learned everything we used to edit and do VFX and all that stuff, but it's purely like solving a puzzle kind of to me and trying to figure out a new brush to paint with, basically. So to me, it's always to accomplish a purpose. So I get how plugins and stuff with VFX and, AI augmented stuff could be kind of interesting if it can speed up the process and make it cheaper so humans can actually create things to help connect to other humans, because that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, I could look it up. I won't be able to name it, but we are going to have a film at the theater in June at Film Invasion LA.
Yeah,
and I actually couldn't tell you. It's a dance film, and there's these beautiful lighting effects, almost like lightning bolts and things coming, or light streaks coming out of people's limbs and things.
That's awesome.
And I watch it, I'm like, this is beautiful. And I don't know if they did that in After Effects or if they did it with AI or if they did it in After Effects with an AI plugin. I honestly don't know how they made it, but it's beautiful. But they took footage of actual human beings first.
Correct.
And then added some
Yeah.
VFX to it. And it could be AI or not, but yeah, it's
within
just
the
beautiful.
context of the story.
It's within
and the human
it works.
experience.
It just works, yeah. So I'm not saying all AI needs to be banned, but I'm just saying like, boy, if you're actor, if you're actually presenting human beings.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
Folks are trying to do that.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like, just fucking make aliens so
Some
that
very big people.
we know what human beings look like.
Correct.
So give us aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
AI aliens.
Yeah.
Who are like, kind of robotic. Then it's okay because then they they all look like
use
robots.
that weird amphibious skin that's on every AI augmented human face that doesn't work well, and just make us a race and species and world of these amphibious looking people. Then it'll be totally normal. So I have weird advice for actors, right? Because people keep asking me. My youngest daughter is 14. She's beginning to act. She's doing a lot of musical theater. She's starting to book commercials and print and stuff like this. And, you know, I have been so fascistic about my advice to her. And my advice has been, and what triggered this all off was I got to randomly see a staged reading of Richard III with Al Pacino. It was in a tiny theater. It just happened randomly, and I got to see him read Shakespeare with a bunch of other known actors and play Richard III. And then afterwards, a bunch of kids, like middle school kids, imagine this, got to ask Al Pacino, Academy Award-winning Al Pacino, what he would do if he were a kid trying to learn how to act now, which was fascinating. He had about 25 minutes of advice. And it was mostly like, follow your heart, try and do a lot of stuff, tune out the world and fall in love with the craft and all this stuff. And I thought that's all good. And it's the same advice I would give to filmmakers as well, because how are you going to really have a voice and comment on things as an artist? And but I would add this one thing is like, really, you know, probably a lot of stuff will be AI augmented. But if you work on live stuff, like you can sing and you can dance, theater is having a huge comeback. Huge. New York, London. I mean, that's crazy, man. We were in London last summer, and, you know, all over the West End, every little storefront has got a new play. There are thousands. You know, and it's coming to New York now, too. And all the kids, the middle school kids, are totally into theater. The jocks are into theater, man. It's a new thing.
That's inspiring. That could be
very inspiring.
Actually, I just learned last night. Last night I went to see a UCLA band play at the Mint.
Oh, that's
You're
cool.
not far from them. Oh, I should have invited you.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Next time.
It's my friend's daughter's band.
Awesome.
And wait, why did I fucking bring this up?
Oh, because of live.
Live.
Yeah.
And I found out that that two people I know are going to be at the Fringe Festival.
Oh, yeah.
In a month or two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me know, like, you know, like, because maybe it is time for maybe everything we're dealing with, all the disappointments of film and video, maybe it will drive us to watch, because there really is something so special about watching human beings perform on stage.
Yeah, 100%.
It after we stop recording, I'll tell you what I did Saturday night, which was really awesome. I'm living a bit of a charmed life because I know just enough cool people to invite me to cool things.
I mean, we all aspire to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I weirdly live in my office, you know, and it's my favorite place, though. So I am living a charmed life by living in my cave, is what I say, you know, and creating.
Yeah.
And trying to get new projects. And I think there's going to be a flurry of like 3 or 4 that just suddenly go whoosh, you know.
Like you're going to do 3 or 4 movies almost concurrently?
Yeah. Back to back, maybe concurrently, yeah. But, yeah, there will be a lot more about that, all that.
Well, you know, so I hope you do.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. And then I just, because I'm not a good person, I just want to joke. Just make sure you stick your dick in something.
Exactly.
Something unusual. Because because apparently, you know, well, actually, I will say this, and I know I'm being crass, but Hollywood has been afraid of dicks for a long time. They've given us female nudity all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, we're getting some male. And
yeah.
But Hollywood still really avoids it.
Oh, yeah.
So it really is like one of the, it's kind of special.
So you're saying full frontal male nudity.
I'm saying if you have an idea that naturally leans a Saltburn / American Pie / White Lotus moment where the penis is where the penis should not be.
Yes.
That's going to be something people talk about.
Yeah.
And I just want more people to see your shit. That's all.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
I don't know why. That was really awful, though, to be, for people to see your shit. Come on, man.
Put your dick in something weird.
I've seen 4 films. I haven't seen your dick yet.
Man, that's funny.
We have some good dicks in the next festival.
That's awesome.
Oh, there was one film that broke my heart.
Oh, no.
This actually, we should get out of here. But
yeah,
like the last batch of submissions for Film Invasion, it was there were a handful of features that fell apart in Act 3. And there's nothing like really thinking something is great for like 60 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes it falls apart, and you're like, let's see what the other jury members thought of this one. And in the end, it's funny, right? You're better off being okay and then have a great ending than great and have a subpar ending.
Yeah. That's you got to turn it up to 11 at minute 50, man.
Well, you really have to just get a fucking Sid Fields book and realize that every 5 to 10 minutes there should be something important and memorable.
Correct. It's got to escalate.
And then you have your audience with you the whole way.
It's got to escalate. And if you're going to fuck the ground like the guy in Saltburn, it's got to be in service of the story. And that was such an incredibly sad moment for that character because he clearly loved that guy. And and all he could do was fuck the dirt. That was all that was left because of the ruin he had laid to the place.
Yeah.
It's like Greek tragic level. It's awesome. Yeah.
It was great. I know it's funny because
you want to make fun of it, but you're like, God, he's so sad. Still going to make fun of it.
But. I mean, it's funny because for me, I really liked the film.
Yeah.
But I liked those challenging moments best.
Yes.
And then a lot of it was like,
it's pretty.
Actually, I guess the hardest thing for me with that film was that one of my all-time favorite actors is Richard E. Grant.
Yes.
And they wasted him in that. They did not take advantage.
Correct.
That's like, I don't have a good analogy, but it's like they parked a Ferrari and put a cover over it and didn't let you see it. Like just completely.
You're like, here's the side of the tire. It's a Ferrari, we swear. Yeah.
I'm like, just if you're gonna cast him, you've got to let me enjoy him.
Yeah, let him really froth at the mouth and do something crazy.
Isn't he from Rhodesia? Maybe South. I think he's actually from. Yeah. I think he has a story of.
Yes, he does.
I think his story is similar to yours.
Yeah, it's similar to mine. I think there's some Kenya and some Rhodesia. Yeah.
And British family had to get out.
Yep.
Interesting shit.
Yeah. There's increasingly more of us.
That's what I'll never figure out about the simulation we're in is like. There are more. California has like twice the population of Australia, and yet a high percentage of people I meet in LA are from Australia. So, like, how are the numbers this huge? Like, how do I know people from? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't understand. How do I know people from? Born in. It was probably Rhodesia when you were born, right?
Yeah,
and then
become
Zimbabwe when
correct
when our good friend Robert Mugabe.
Wow.
I was there. Did I tell you that I was there when like the currency, like the bill that was worth $1 went from 50 million to 100 million? They were literally printing $100 million notes.
Yeah.
And I gave a driver who was driving us around like a $20 US bill for.
And he cried.
I was like, can I have?
Yes.
I was like. And I realized it was like a month's salary, but I was like, I'm like, can you just get me the $100 million bill? I want to bring it home. Yeah. I want to give you $20 US for it.
Yeah.
And he went and found me one and was there the next day at the hotel with it. And I was like, thank you. Cause
amazing. Yeah. My uncle's still there.
Whoa.
And one of his kids. And he has somehow survived and it's a shame, man.
I've never seen sadness like on the faces of the people of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, because there was so much hope once it turned into Zimbabwe, and it looked like it was going to be this kind of rock star of decolonialization, but like where people were not just about payback, where it was like really authentic and moving forward, and it just was a total ruse. It really was. And I mean, regarding the inflation, it's like no joke, man. Like with people messing around, you can't mess around with that kind of stuff. People who know what they're doing need to be in charge of those levers. Like,
and I'll leave it
I
at
don't
that.
care where they're from, what their deal is. It's real, and
there's value to experts and education.
Totally.
And when you end up with a leader having complete control and everything goes by that person's whims, you
I mean, you could get FDR. You could get FDR.
But that's why no monarchy survives. Because I love the Dan Carlin, right? Do you listen to Hardcore History podcast?
Yeah.
And he always talks about like your problem is like the kings of Persia. You had like 3 amazing kings of Persia in a row, and they conquered all the way to Greece. And then the genetic dice get rolled, and then the next king of Persia, of the Persian Empire, is fool.
Yeah.
Who just drives it on the ground. Because in the end, you've got to have a little bit of meritocracy or nothing sustainable. And so it's important for democracies to acknowledge merit and education.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think we're going to see a lot of film and TV projects about this.
I'd like to. Gosh darn.
Yeah.
I've been sitting around. I mean, I was a punk rock kid in the 80s, and the 80s reaction to trying to regulate our lyrics and things and put stickers on albums was to get dirtier.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering, like, when there's got to be some amazing, rebellious young people in garages playing some music I'm dying to hear. And I'm like, how are they going to get to me?
Yeah.
An old fart like me.
Same with like, film content. Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck, I'm lucky because right now we get a small portion submitted to us, but at least I get to see some cool shit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, well, here. Well, by the way, I'm aware that I did you one disservice, which was in the very beginning, and maybe I should go back and throw it into the intro. We didn't tell people to go to Just Watch. Did we tell people to go to justwatch.com and type in Listen Carefully?
No.
Yeah, because...
But if you want to watch Listen Carefully, go to justwatch.com.
Yeah.
And type
I can
it in.
make it a clickable link, and then people can choose where to watch it, because there's all kinds of choices.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's all over the world. It's streaming on everything, basically, except Netflix. So.
And we could have talked about the distribution style of it, but...
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe we'll save.
But we're at an hour 23, and well, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, if anyone has questions about distribution for indie films, find me online and email me.
Yeah.
I get a few questions a week about that, and I always respond. I do. I will actually respond with real information and strategies to help people, and I've conversed with hundreds of filmmakers about this because, I've produced 5 movies, and they've all been indie, and they've all gotten worldwide distribution, and I have sailed those seas, my friend, so I know.
You have swam in more than one pool, and you can tell people how the water is.
Yeah, so many sharks.
Admittedly, well, we did a cool distribution panel at Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
But I don't think you got your film screened a couple hours later.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it again at Film Invasion. But yeah, I actually did have to. I guess our festivals have grown to the point that there's a couple of the people that people I trust say, that guy's a crook.
Yeah.
So then I have to warn everybody, if so-and-so gave you their business card in the lobby of the theater, just know that we're not endorsing any of the people. If they weren't on our distribution panel, we don't know if they're trustworthy. I didn't knock anyone down and say so-and-so's a crook.
Do your due diligence.
I'm like, do your due diligence. You can ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But like we sent to like a preemptive one, like, there were many distributors of repute who you can trust at Sherman Oaks Film Festival. But there were a couple people floating around too who I'm not sure you can trust.
Yeah, and I think it's incumbent on you as the filmmaker. If you're considering signing your creative work away, which you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into, take a second to see what other projects those people have distributed, find the directors and producers, and email them. I get so many emails about all the different distributors we've used, and I'm brutally honest with those people who will take the time. And nothing I'm saying is false, so I'm not worried about it. Like getting back to those folks, because they do business the way they do it, and if they do it great, then I'm definitely going to say that. And it's in my best interest as an indie filmmaker for the overall health of our ecosystem. So I'm going to do proper advice about that stuff. So please contact me if you need help. I'm not going to help you, but I will give you advice.
Excellent. So, and by the way, in the show notes of the podcast, whatever app or however you're accessing my voice right now, I'll make sure that Ryan, that your social media is a clickable link and website and anything you want to give me. As well as links to your films, because people should people should watch them all.
I mean they're all out right now worldwide. There's our latest Listen Carefully, Hawk and Rev, Elijah's Ashes, Repatriation, and The Truth. They're all out, man. It's crazy. They're still out there churning away. People are watching them, which is amazing. I'm so thankful.
Which is excellent. Yeah. Heck. By the time you're 65, you'll have like 30 in circulation. And
that's the goal.
The funny thing is 30 films, each making $500 a month. You'll have a sailboat, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll have a sailboat. Yes. I will have a sailboat.
I'll bring the ginger ale.
Yes. Call me Captain Morgan.
That's my joke with my wife for the last period of time is, are you sure you don't want to live on a sailboat? Because, we could rent out the house, live on a sailboat, and then if shit gets really bad in the USA, sail up to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Because if they shut the border, we can at least get into Vancouver Bay. Because my best friend lives up there.
Nice.
So we've got a basement with our name on it. There's a basement apartment in Vancouver if I need it.
I know. Yeah, or sail down to
where it's warmer.
That's
right. Oh, shit, I might fall in love with Peru soon.
Yeah.
I already love Cartagena. I think Cartagena, Colombia is one of the that's true.
Yeah.
But I could learn to fish.
Yeah. Argentina, love it. Brazil.
Live on a sailboat, pull fish out of the ocean, scrape the plastic off of them.
The good life.
See, this is why I was warning people, like, in the intro, I was going to say, like, we've had coffee, like we could talk for 7 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to have a little more discipline with this podcast and not talking too long. What are you going to do?
It's fun.
It is fun.
It's the point. It's long form.
And we both basically, you work in your office, I work in mine. Like, we can go days without talking to a human.
I know.
Unless you count your family.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg claims we're all going to have AI friends now. That we can exist with in the metaverse. Hopefully not, people. Go out of your house, see some real people, touch some grass.
It is nice to see real people. I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
it is funny.
Yeah, we're human.
All right, I'm going to do my closing spiel.
Do it.
I'll get us out of here, which is...
Do it.
Thank you, Ryan Barton Grimley. I said the full name for for being here in person.
Thank you for having me.
Although we've always done our podcast in person. Even Hawk and Rev, we waited till COVID chilled out.
Yeah.
And then I came over to your place and did it. And I think it was the worst. I totally flubbed the microphone that day because it was like sitting in between the three of us. So we all sounded like we're inside an aquarium. But anyway, this one will sound better with the newest, best mics. But anyway, so check all the clickable links in the show notes for Ryan's stuff. And in the meantime, thank you for listening to the Discover Indie Film podcast. If you want to learn more about it, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFWins. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. I quit social media earlier this year, so I only look at the Blue Sky. But Karina, my wonderful podcast producer, takes care of the meta products. And I mentioned Film Invasion Los Angeles a few times because I believe you've played there twice and Sherman Oaks once.
Yes.
That sounds about right. And so you can learn more about Film Invasion Los Angeles if you go to filminvasionla.com, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. This June, actually this podcast will come out after the 10th anniversary has happened because I've banked just enough now that I can stop recording for the 4 weeks before the festival. Because needless to say,
it's going to be a great festival.
The degree of stress I would feel like sitting here chatting with someone for a while. But like, okay, there's a festival in 3 weeks. Hey, how's your film?
There's 1 million things.
The bricks that I shit.
Yeah.
Before a festival. So anyway, that's filminvasionla.com.
That's
at
awesome.
At Film Invasion LA on social media. Sherman Oaks Film Festival, its sister festival we hold every December, is ShermanOaksFF.com and at ShermanOaksFF on social media. I mentioned DiscoverIndieFilm.com. If you go to DiscoverIndieFilm.org, that is the nonprofit that runs both film festivals. And I'm trying to come out of the nonprofit closet and mention the nonprofit more. And I mentioned that Film Invasion LA and Sherman Oaks Film Festival are sister festivals. As Ryan brought up, or maybe it was before we started recording, they get a cousin in South America next year.
Yes.
Film Invasion Lima in Lima, Peru.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so there we go.
I'm submitting the next film to it.
Heck
I am 100%. I love South America. It's my favorite continent. You know, my wife's family's from Argentina, so.
I didn't know they were there, Argentinian.
Yeah, Simone's mom's, the whole family's Argentina.
Dang.
Yeah.
You're an international couple, actually.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I mean, talk about people who like film. South America is strong. Yes. Regardless of the country and culture. They love it.
They love the películas.
Yes. See.
God. All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, sir. Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you. Thank you, everyone, for listening.